Okay, in this video we're going to look at joining our second server to the Active Directory domain. As we can see at the moment, by going to server 1, we know it's the Active Directory server. We know it's giving out an IP address using DHCP. And when we go to Server Manager, we should be able to go to Tools, Active Directory User Computers. And we can see under Computers, there are no computers in the domain. There is a domain controller, but no computer. So what we're going to do in this step, in this video, is we're going to join the second computer to Active Directory. We do that by going to Server Manager, going down to Local Server, and you can see that it says Workgroup. We now click on Workgroup, and we're going to change it. Very simple, for the exact same place we changed the name of the computer, but down here we're going to tell it it's part of the domain called training.local. You OK on that? Do you want to use the computer name? Yes, I do. And it's prompting me for an account that has permission to join computers to the domain, and I'm going to go with training-administrator and the password for the administrator, because you must have the authority to join computers to the domain. And I'm waiting for a pop-up message to say welcome to the training.local domain. Click OK on that, and of course we will have to restart our computer. Restart now. Once restarting, we'll go back to our first server, and we will check that when we refresh this, we'll now see there's a computer coming in. And refresh. And there's our server 2 coming in. So we now have 2 computers in Active Directory. We should be able to go to server 2 when it restarts, and we should be able to connect across to a shared drive. So what I'm going to do here on server 1 is I'm going to create a new folder on the C drive, and this is going to be shared out. So a new folder, and I'm going to call it share 1. I am going to share this so that it's accessible across the network. Properties, and I'm going to go sharing, advanced, share this folder, permissions, and I'm going to, for the moment, give everyone change access. And OK on that, and close on that. OK. We'll head back to our server 1, or sorry, server 2, which should be loading. Keyboard, insert Control-Alt-Delete, and what we should notice now is we do not want to log on to server 2 2012. We want to log on to the training domain. So we click on the back button, click on the user, and the username will be training/administrator with the usual password. And again, we don't have any other accounts, so the administrator is the only one we can use. So we press enter on that, and we should see that we are now connecting to server 2, which is now being controlled through the domain itself. And you can see it's setting up a new profile for the training administrator as opposed to the local server administrator. When that loads up, we can do a very quick test. We can ping the DC, server 1, and we can also map a network drive across to the shared folders to prove that we have communications. So when Server Manager loads up, we'll do a couple of checks. So while that's loading up, I'm going to go to a command prompt, and I'm going to ping 10.0.0.1, which is our DC, and I'm getting 4 replies from there, which is a good sign. And then if I go to server 1 and I go to a command prompt, which is our domain controller, and I'm going to ping 10.0.0.20, which is the IP address allocated by DHCP. Now I'm getting no responses here, and probably the reason I'm getting no responses is one of 2 things. One, what is the IP address of the server, to make sure it's the same IP address. It is 10.0.0.20. Generally, when you're getting this kind of a timeout, it basically means that the firewall is probably on the server. We can check that very quickly. Let this load up. This should change the training.local IP address assigned by DHCP, and you can see that the firewall is currently on. So I'm now going to go to my firewall, and I'm going to turn off my firewall off This was on before because it was a private network, but now basically it's our domain setting we want to turn off. So turn off your firewall for the domain, because ping commands ICMP protocol is automatically blocked. Go back to server 1 and run that command again, and we're getting 4 replies. Now, we also configured DHCP. So when we go back to Server Manager on the domain controller and go Tools, DNS, we will now see that we have a training.local forward lookup zone. And in here you can see that it has both machines listed, 10.0020 being server 2, 10.001 being server 1. So if I go back to my command prompt and I ping server 2 underscore 2012, which is the computer name, I can even go .training.local, and let me just check I've put that in right, srv2 underscore srv2 underscore, look, user error 2012.training.local. I'm now getting 4 responses from DNS for that local name itself. And if I go to server 2 and I ping server 1 underscore 2012.training.local, I don't actually have to put in that fully qualified name, but just to see it, you can see there's 4 responses. So if we're communicating between the machines, I should now be able to go to my computer, click on computer, map a network drive, and put in the path to the other server, // srv1 underscore 2012 / and I call it share 1, and click on connect or finish, and there's the folder. Alright, and if I look here, I should now see that I have a Z drive share 1. So if I go in here and I create a new text document, remember we had change permissions assigned to it, close that, back to server 1, I can close all these windows down now, go back to my computer, go into the C drive, look for the share 1 folder, and there's new text document. Okay, so I can see that I can prove that I have communications between the machines, and I also have functioning DHCP. Okay. In our next video, we look at adding some users and logging on with a different user account as such.